All right, Shalom. First, I'd like to start by saying our praise to Yahweh, by Shem Yahushai, by Shem Kakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles that rule well, and salutations to the brothers that's doing the truth and sincerity. Now, this here is a video on famine. Slack and there's a lot of nations going through it. And it's coming. It's going to eventually come to America. So I'm just going to read through this. This is famine. It says from top left to bottom right, or mobile. From top to bottom, child victims of famines in India 1943 to 44, the Netherlands 1944 to 45, Nigeria 1967 to 70, and an engraving of a woman and her children during the Great Famine in Ireland 1845 to 1849. It says a famine is a widespread scarcity of food caused by several factors, including war. And there's a lot of war going on in the Middle East, so they don't speak on the famines and stuff that's going on over there really. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of them nations migrated over to the U.S. and Europe, so on and so forth. Inflation, right, and that's going on in a lot of countries. Crop failure. And when you if you've been watching Al Jazeera, that's why I seen to that, at least. The locusts that's all over the Middle East or all over Africa, or a lot of them countries in Africa are getting close to having famines because the locusts are eating up everything, man. And it's already a lot of famines that go on over there in Africa anyway. So, the Lord is really fucking messing people up. It says population imbalance or government policies. Right? I guess an example of government policies would be how the U.S. puts sanctions on nations, and starve them out, take them from their resources and whatnot. But it's something I think of right now. But it says, or government policies. It says this phenomenon is usually accompanied or followed by regional malnutrition, starvation, epidemic, right, diseases come after that, and increase mortality. Because a lot of people that died off, a lot of them, depending on what country it is, they just be left there, and that spreads diseases too. It says every inhabited continent in the world has experienced a period of famine throughout history. It says in the 19th and 20th century, it was generally Southeast and South Asia, as well as Eastern and Central Europe, that suffered the most deaths from famine. The numbers dying from famine began to fall sharply from the 2000s. It says some countries, particularly in sub-Saharan Africa, continue to have extreme cases of famine since 2010 because it's prophecy. Africa has been the most affected continent in the world. As of 2017, the United Nations has warned over 20 million are at risk in South Sudan, Somalia, Nigeria, and Yemen. It says the distribution of food has been affected by conflict. Most programs now direct their aid towards Africa. It says definitions according to the United Nations humanitarian criteria. Even if there are food shortages with large numbers of people lacking nutrition, a famine is declared only when certain measures of mortality, malnutrition, and hunger are met. The criteria are at least 20% of households in an area face extreme food shortages with a limited ability to cope. The prevalence or prevalence prevalence of acute malnutrition in children exceeds 30%. The death rate exceeds 2 people per 10,000 per day. It says the declaration of a famine carries no binding obligations on the United Nations or member states, but serves to focus global attention on the problem. It says history. It says the cyclical occurrence of famine has been a mainstay of societies engaged in subsistence since the dawn of agriculture itself. It says the frequency and intensity of famine has fluctuated throughout history depending on changes in food demand, such as population growth and supply side shifts caused by changing climate conditions. Famine was first eliminated in Holland and England during the 17th century due to the commercialization of agriculture and the implementation of improved techniques to increase crop yields. Let's see this one. It says decline of famine. It says in the 16th and 17th century, the feudal system began to break down, and more prosperous farmers began to enclose their own land and improve their yields to sell the surplus crops for a profit. These capitalist landowners paid their laborers with money, thereby increasing the commercialization of rural society. It says in the emerging competitive labor market, better techniques for the improvement of labor productivity were increasingly valued and rewarded. It was in the farmers' interest to produce as much as possible on their land in order to sell it to areas that demanded that product. They produced guaranteed surpluses of their crop every year if they could. It says subsistence peasants were also increasingly forced to commercialize their activities because of increasing taxes. Taxes that had to be paid to central governments and money forced the peasants to produce crops to sell. Sometimes they produced industrial crops, but they would find ways to increase their production in order to meet both subsistence requirements as well as their tax obligations. It says peasants also used the new money to purchase manufactured goods. The agricultural and social developments encouraging increased food production were gradually taking place throughout the 16th century, but took off in the early 17th century. Let me see what else do I want to read. Okay, yeah, I think that's about it. You brothers are welcome to read the rest of it, but yeah, this famine is going on around this world right now, and there's more to come when diseases and stuff break out and they start quarantining people, and the race riots and stuff kick off. A lot of people who quarantined off might not have enough food. When them riots and stuff start, a lot of that food gonna be snatched off them shelves and stuff. So this right here, famine, is part of Bible prophecy. So All right, this second Ezra chapter 15, verse 49. It says, I will send plagues upon thee. Right, so all the plagues that's happening in the world is coming from Yahweh Shema Shai. Widowhood, poverty, famine, see, sword, and pestilence. And we got pestilence going on heavy right now. The last news clipping I watched, they said over 75,000 people are infected. You know, and then I watched earlier the Malcolm video, and he said I guess people were doing self quarantine. About 5,900 of them over here in the U.S. I forget specific if he gave specifics and whatnot, but it's going down. It says verse 49 again, it says, I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence, to waste thy houses with destruction and death. Right, so that's why the Lord be sending these plagues to waste these people's houses with destruction and death. It's all prophecy. This is Matthew chapter 24. I guess I'll start at 4. It says, and Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Yahushua, and shall deceive many, to false prophets. You know, these fake pastors and stuff. Saying they come in the name of Yahushua, but, you know, the Lord gave them no visions, you know. And you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, and that's going on heavy. You know, you can see that all on the TV. See that you be not troubled, right? But us brothers that are awake, we're not supposed to be troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. Right, so there are nation against nation means there's going to be a race riot. Kingdom and kingdom means there's going to be wars. The ultimate war is Russia, the U.S., Israel, and Iran. You know, then the other nations are going to get involved. But it says, and there should be famines, right? So this famine is happening, and it's only going to get worse around the world. You know, and pestilences, pestilence out here is bad, and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrow. Right, man. So with all this stuff going on, because it's going to come to pass, everything's just going to get worse as the time goes on. You know, the Lord's men, the ones that's doing his work, you know, his elect are going to be protected from it. So it ain't going to be nothing to worry about. This is Job chapter 5. Verse 22, at destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. Right? So at destruction, when the destruction come and that famine, the Lord's elect gonna laugh, man. You know, the elect. Because we're going to know and be aware that all this stuff was going to happen, and the Lord going to prepare our spirits for it, and already preparing our spirits for it. This is Psalm chapter 37. Verse 18, it says, "The Lord knoweth the days of the upright, and their inheritance shall be forever. They shall not be ashamed in the evil time, the times that's coming, and in the days of famine they shall be satisfied." Right, man. So, yeah, right, that way the Lord's elect gonna be straight when these famines kick off, man, because, there's lots of famines going on in the world, and the worst way to die is by famine. And I don't know what that scripture was, but I'm gonna end it off like that. Call out your Shai, double honors to the elders and apostles that rule well, and salutations to the brothers in the truth and sincerity. Shalom.